part 2 of making the ceramic monster. So what you want to do next is start adding all the big parts, like the tail, the arms and the legs, or the head. Okay, so if you're going to add a tail, you want to get more clay. You're going to roll, and I like to make sort of a carrot shape, you know, where like one end is skinnier, and I'm going to do this, okay? Not too thin, because anything thinner than about this, okay, which is about a ½ inch, about a ¼ inch to ½ inch width in diameter, will get too thin, it'll break. Okay, so then I want to cut off maybe about there. I don't want the tail that long. Okay, I'm going to take the tail, maybe I want to add it here. So what I'm going to do is make sure I blend this really, really well. I have to get my fingers in there and attach. If you just stick something on, it will definitely fall off. Okay, so you really want to get in here, blend all the way around as if it was made from one piece. But I can't leave it like this because this will break off. You always want to have parts that stick off touching the body so that everything stays fairly compact, so that you don't have little tiny parts that will break off. So you see how I made the wings? They're pretty small. They're not like giant wings because those would break off. And the same with the horns. They're not big long horns. They're just short little stubs, because, you know, pretty sad if you make something and then it just comes back and it's not in one piece. Okay, so see how I'm going to do this tail? Maybe I want to curl it up like that, okay? But I'm going to leave it like that just for now. I'm not finished with the tail because I want to add spikes on later. Okay, maybe I want to add some arms or some legs, okay? So I'm just going to make short coils, like little stubby, and you see how I'm widening out one of the ends. I'm just taking my fingers and pinching it wider because I want to stick it on, and then I want to use that extra clay that I just pinched out to blend in. So I want to make sure I blend everywhere around. Okay. And so let's say I made one arm here. Remember, I want everything fairly compact, so I don't want to just stick it out like that. I want to pull it in, okay, have it touch the body. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Now you're probably thinking, well, how do I add the head on? I want to make something more like the crocodile, or something that definitely has that the head and the body are not just one piece, okay? So what you can do is, in the top here, what I do is I start to squeeze. Okay, can you see how I'm squeezing? I'm just taking my hand, I'm just kind of squeezing out that neck. Okay, and just very slowly, don't just all of a sudden just squeeze, okay? I'm smoothing it out, I'm squeezing, I'm smoothing it out, okay? And now, can you see where I've made a head? And if I want to pull out maybe more of the head, because I want to make, I don't even know what I'm making. It looks like a duck with a big snake tail and some weird arms that I haven't decided on what I want to do with the arms. If I want to make fingers or claws. This is part 3. This is where we're going to start to add more detail into our monster. If I want to add spikes onto the back, like the crocodile here, how to make spikes is take some clay, move that away, take some clay, and you're going to roll it into a coil, Notice how I'm using my hands to roll the coil first, and then I put it down on the table, and you start in the middle and you move your hands away from each other, making that coil longer. But you don't want to press too hard, because what will happen is it will end up lopsided and it won't roll. So you want to keep it really as a cylinder. Okay, not too thin. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to flatten it. Not too hard again, because if I push too much, it'll stick to the board and it'll make this too thin. Remember, this shouldn't be any thinner than about 1/4 of an inch. So now I have a flattened coil. And I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to cut out triangles. Okay, after you've cut out your spikes, you're going to decide where you want to put them. Should I start them here at the top of the head, or should I start them at the bottom of the neck? I think I'm going to start at the top of the head and go along. Oops, it broke. So I'm just going to put these little spikes right along the edge of the tail, and I think I'm going to tear it off right there so it can blend in with this tip of the tail. Okay, so there we go. I kind of carried it all the way through to the end of the tail. Okay, and in order for these to stay on, you're going to need to use this green blending tool. And remember that you need to blend everything together to make sure it stays on. So I blend this edge, and then I'm going to smooth it out with my finger. Okay, and then I have to turn it and do the same thing to the other side. So don't forget to blend everything together or it will fall off. You want to pretend as if this whole piece was molded from one solid piece, as if it was carved out of one solid piece. Okay, all right, so that's how you do spikes. Okay, my tail is not attached, so I need to go ahead and do that now because I don't want it to break off. And so remember, this has to be compact. Okay, all right, if you want to make wings, what you want to do is take a ball of clay, okay, roll it, and then you're going to squish it, making a pancake. Okay, and then you want to get another piece of clay and do the same, so you make 2 same size or similar size pancakes. Okay, like that. And then you need to cut out your wing shape. So if you want bat wing shape or bird wing shape, or on this one, I did butterfly wing shape, up to you. This time I'm going to kind of do a bat sort of wing shape. Cut one out, place it on top of the other pancake, and you're going to use your first wing as the template so that you get 2 same size wings. Okay, and then you're going to put them on. Remember that you can't put something on like this, it will tend to break off. You need to put them on so they kind of go towards the back. Any parts, remember, that are small, thin, will tend to break off. So I want to get these in the same part. Okay, so there's my wings. Okay, I blended them in, but remember, I have to blend all the way around. So I not only have to blend in the front, but back here I have to get my tool in there and blend to the body so that they have less chance of them breaking off. All right, now eyes. Eyes, you can draw them in, that's fine, or you can make eyes. So one way to do it is if your finger is, like if your eyes are big enough, you can just use your finger and just poke your finger in. I'm going to use a pencil because these are kind of small eyes, okay? But you can just take your finger and poke in and make 2 holes, or 3 holes, or 1 hole, depending on how many eyes you have, okay? Then you take clay and you're going to make the eyeball. So you're going to roll it into a little ball and stick it in. These have to be really small, okay? So small, I'm going to stick them in, okay? Just like that. So you want them to be rounded on the top. Don't flatten them out, okay? Like that. All right, that one got a little flat. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is take a little bit of clay, just a tiny bit. You're going to roll it into a coil or like a piece of rice, and then you're going to squish it between your hands. So now it's a flat piece of rice. And then you're going to bend it so it's like a rainbow, okay, into an arc, just like that. Then you're going to put that on top of the eye. If you put it directly on top of the eye, it'll just be a normal eye. If you kind of make it go towards the center, it'll sort of look like angry eyes. And if you put it towards the side, the shape on the outside, it'll look kind of sad. But I'm just going to put them right on top like this, okay? Then you're going to blend in just the top edge, okay? Careful not to squish any other edge so that this eyelid, okay, is overlapping the eyeball. That's how to make a more realistic eye. And so you have to do the same with the other side. Remember, make a piece of rice, squish it, make a little rainbow kind of shape, put it on, just like that. Okay, and then blend just the top edge. And then if you want to, you can add in like those little dots in the middle of the eye. Okay, you can put dots for nostrils, like this. You can also make a mouth by taking your needle and just pushing it, okay? And then you kind of open up like a little mouth area, like this, okay? Let's see, you can draw details on if you want, that's fine. Just remember that you gotta have everything smooth first, and then you can draw on with this, because if it's rough and then you try to draw, it'll just look even rougher. All right, so let's say everything is exactly how you want it. Okay, you've spent time fixing it all up. Nothing's too skinny, such as, do you see these wings? I don't want to make these wings thinner. I don't want to keep squishing them, because if they're too thin, they will just break off. So if you've made something too thin, you need to probably add clay on or redo them. Okay, so let's say I'm all done, which I think I am. And the last thing to do is rewrite your name on the bottom, because it probably got smudged off. Okay, rewrite your whole name, just your first name though. You don't have to write your last name, but you also don't write initials. Okay, and then take your needle and you're just going to poke the bottom like that. Okay, and what that does is the air that's trapped inside now has a place where it can be released, and so your piece won't blow up, because we don't want any blow ups. Okay, so that's the end of this video.